Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you all very much for joining today. Wonderful to see you all after a week, and I'm glad that you've all joined so we can continue our discussion on Bhagavad Gita. So, so some may ask that why this class? Because whatever we saw was only an overview, right? So we want to go a little in depth to see what is Krishna saying, the relevant shlokas, and the translation, and read a bit from that. So, welcome you all for this session, and we are praying to Krishna that by his blessings we may be able to continue this session. So we're planning to have 12 sessions for 3 months, weekly once, and we will discuss a set of shlokas and read some explanations of that, and then open for question answers. So we will start with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So this will be more interactive, and we will also switch between reading the books and the presentation, and there will be homeworks. So if anyone in this group is willing to volunteer to put the class messages and also homework and reminder, please text me. So so that we can all share the services. So we'll see the signs of soul. So this is chapter 2, text 13. Okay. So we are also going to learn how to recite the shlokas. So you're seeing some marks here on top of that. Letters, for example, a hyphen on top of A means it's a long sound. Ah, just this has to be pronounced as yata, not yata. And this A is the ordinary sound. It's a double sound. The hyphen on top means. And then it's a half syllable M. If it is a dot on M, Kaumaram. But that doesn't, affect much. And then we don't have a yes on top. So here the apostrophe means there is a here. Dehino asmin. If we see the word by word translations, Dehinaha asmin. But because of the O and A, the Sanskrit combines, then it becomes Dehinosmin. So you can, did I mute everyone? No. So you can unmute and recite after me. Then after that, I'm going to mute everyone also, and it's going to be more interactive. First, I'm going to read one line, and then you can unmute and recite after me. Dehinosmin yata dehe.
Dehinosmin yata dehe.
Adehe.
Dehinosmin yata dehe.
Dehinosmin yata dehe.
Dehe.
Dehinosmin yata dehe.
Dehinosmin yata dehe.
Kaumaram yavanam jara.
Kaumaram Javanam
Jara.
Kaumaram yavanam jara.
Yavam Jara.
Kaumaram yavanam jara.
Kaumaram Yavanam Jara.
Tata dehantara praptir.
Tatha
Dehantara
Dehantaraptir.
Tata dehantara praptir.
Tatha
Antara Tir
Dehantaraptir.
Dhirastatra namuhyati.
Dhiras
Satnamuhyati
Namuhyati.
Dhirastatra namuhyati.
Dhiras
Satyanamuhyati.
Namuhyati.
Okay. Anybody wants to recite the shloka?
So my one quick question. You're saying Dhira Tattva Namusyati, right?
Muhyati.
Oh, Dhiras, but under on the blue it says Dhira. So
No,
S is
no. That is word by word meaning. We'll come to that.
okay.
Yeah. Whatever is written in the shloka, we have to recite that.
Okay, I see. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
I can go, Mataji.
Okay. One person. Yeah.
Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tata dehantra praptir dhiras tatra na muhyati.
Thank you. So,
Dehanosmin yata dehi.
okay. So if everyone can go on mute again, and so it will be helpful to we'll discuss. So we're going to read the word by word meaning. Dehinaha, of the embodied. Asmin, in this. Yata, as. Dehe, in the body. So the second line is Kaumaram Yavvanam Jara. Kaumaram is boyhood, Yavvanam is youth, Jara is old age. Tata Dehantara Praptir. Tata means similarly, Deha Antara, of transference of the body, Praptihi, achievement. Dhiras Tatra Namuhyati. Dhiraha, the sober, Tatra, thereupon, Na, never, Muhyati is deluded. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. So, in this way, we can see how word by word meaning of Sanskrit is given, and also that's given in English. So, there's no need to learn the Sanskrit to read this, and we can check what is the meaning. So this is the first instruction of Krishna to Arjuna. And why is he saying this? Because Arjuna was lamenting. Arjuna was, he couldn't get himself out of the, uh, the effects of war. So he was so depressed that he's going to kill them and they're going to die. And so Krishna is first consoling him, telling that they're not going to die, because a person who knows this, that death is not the end, but it's an exit to another entry, then he's not, he's informed of it. So he's not going to panic that much as a person, against a person who thinks that this is the end of my life. Right? So Krishna is giving the basic knowledge about ourselves, that how we continue to live. So when we see, this, then we say cow, elephant, man, a deer, dog, snake, or a bird. Because that's true, right? They're all different, and they're been given different names based on their body. So because the body is made up of matter, and so that's how we see them. If we see anybody, then immediately we know, okay, he's an American, he's an Indian, he's Chinese, he's from African American, like that. So that's the difference in the body. But if we are just this body, then as we saw in the class also, we are just a bunch of chemicals. Then why worry when the chemicals are born and chemicals are uh, dead? Anyway, there's going to be a end point of a chemical, and then energy is conserved. But that's not the complete viewpoint. Coming to the spiritual viewpoint is that although we see differences in the external body, we know that we are not just the physical body, physical appearance. We are, Krishna is saying that we are spirit, soul, but we are encaged, like we are inside the cage of this material body. The cage is completely covered. So one thing is that main thing that to note, that when the material body dies or stops to function, we continue to live. We don't die. It's like a caterpillar, it goes from one leaf to another leaf. After eating the leaf fully, the caterpillar catches hold of the other leaf and then leaves this part. Like that, the body, the next body is decided according to the mind, and when it is ready, when the time comes, then we continue our journey into the other bodies. So the main reason is mentioned encaged. It's like a bird inside the cage. The bird cannot come out of the cage until the cage is opened. So similarly, we are encaged or entrapped into. We can't change. We can try to change, but that will become more problems. They do plastic surgery and they fix one thing, then there is problem in another place. Basically, uh, whether we like or not, whatever the physical frame we are in, we are entrapped into that. So it's important not only to think about what activities, what duties I have based on my um, based on the identity of the cage. If we continuously do that, then we, the soul, will gasp for spiritual uh, activities. Like the soul is thirsty, right, for spiritual activities, to do something that satisfies us. So we remain unsatisfied into that. So this is how, if Krishna hasn't told this, then there's no way that for us to understand that, we are different from the body, because we don't see the soul going out, we don't see the soul coming inside the body, because uh, it is to be seen by knowledge of the scriptures. But there are so many proofs for the presence of the soul, as we have seen. Common sense. If the soul is not the cause of consciousness, then is it, I mean, how the human society has not found a solution to bring the dead person back to life? I mean, that's the most important uh, agenda on hand. But that, even as we see, the dead plant or dead grass, once it is dead, it's dead and gone. We can't bring that back. So we know that the source of life has left the body. So there is no consciousness, there is no, there's proofs of life, there is no interaction. Then the body is given proper final rights, because the soul and the super soul was there into that cage. So we see how consciousness is also the presence of the existence of the soul. So we'll see what the consciousness is. Many of us have gone to the funeral ceremonies, and people are feeling bad looking at that person, but we clearly say that he or she has passed away, but he or she is there. The body, what we have seen, is still there, but still no longer life is there. So there's no, this is happening every minute, every second, but no, bringing back the soul. We cannot induce consciousness, the dead body, back to life, right? So what made the body living and attractive and beautiful is actually the soul. So when the soul passes away, when the body begins to decay and decompose, it becomes glowless immediately. After some time, it becomes scary to look at, and before that, the body has to be kept in complete ice, and that too not for long. There's so much stench and so much bacteria and this and that. So as soon as the soul, the proprietor, the person who's living, passed away, then the body is given rights. We'll find out how soon we can cremate or bury the body. The sooner, the better. But the irony is, the whole life we have been, thinking, not pondering over this much. Even though we theoretically know this, unless we apply and do some activities, then um, there is no consequence to that. So see, this is a beautiful scenery, and a camera is watching that. So the camera will record as, oh, this is a red light, and this is trees, and this is a thing. There's no emotions in that. So, but when a living being is going through that, then there is old memories, they're conscious. The matter what we are seeing is what a living being is seeing is creating an emotions, creating memories. Either, it could be either happy or sad, but so that shows that um, that the living being is conscious. and not just dead matter. And also out of body experience or near death experience. Many people, I don't know, have had this experience that they are observing themselves, their body, uh, when they're out. This may not be, I mean, very common, but it's been recorded by, who are physically and mentally stable population. The medical journal has recorded this, right? So how is it that if we are something different from the body, how we can have a out of body experience and also near death experience? They very well feel that they've gone somewhere, or they're had an encounter recently. I read a message that yeah, a lady was dead and pronounced dead for 14 minutes, and then she came back to life. And then she was explaining that I was in a different realm. It's completely, it's a world of love, and there are so many people there. And it's like the way she describes, you can see that it's not, I mean, they try to see whether she's making it up or not. No. Right, there are enough research in this. Time and again, so many stories, histories are being recorded, and they are proved also scientifically. So there is this search on eternal soul. Sir, he's a 30 years heart surgeon, and he is telling his experience that when the person passes away, I can see that there is a light that passes away. There is something that is going away from the body. He's saying that probably the consciousness is different. These are not religious people, but they're completely scientists, and those who are in medical science, who are seeing this day in and day out. So they are telling this. So there is this very famous case of, so many cases are told by Ian Stevenson. He's a professor of psychiatry in University of Virginia, and he has investigated 3,000 cases of spontaneous reincarnation memories. You can see him in Wikipedia and what work he has done, and he has recorded them. And in that, he has got scientific evidence. Like, there is no way that, with evidence, he's proving that the reincarnation is true. So in his book, there are so many life histories that are given, that we'll see one of them. Even in the previous class, we saw about, I forgot the name. He was Lugdi Devi, and then she became Shanti Devi, and it was a very famous case till she was alive till 1980s. And also phobias, where it comes from. Some people, strange emotions are evoked, or sometimes happy emotions are evoked, seeing some things, seeing some sceneries. When you go out, some place looks more familiar, right? Phobias are because he's telling, Jan Stevenson is telling, probably related to the mode of death of the person. And then that they don't know why they have that phobia, because that memory of from one body to another body is gone. How did I die in the previous life? We forget that. But when it is strong, the impressions that will be giving a phobia. Like somebody drowns, then they have a phobia of water. Somebody has passed away by falling off the cliff, then they'll have a phobia of heights, like this. So if the previous life ended in stabbing, then they cannot handle weapons or knives, like that. So like this, he has created so many, given that as an example, that where you cannot tell where is it coming from, And this proves that they have picked it up from somewhere before this life. Same way, reincarnation research. So if you take twins, okay, they are identical, they are born, they have the same genetic material, and but they have so different in temperament, in what they like and dislike, right? If everything comes from DNA, then what is the explanation that the twins are of different natures? They should be exactly the same because the DNA is the same, everything is coded. No, I mean, I know twins who are very different from each other. They like something and they are in different fields and like that. So actually, it is a proof that although they are coming from the same place, it is not just DNA. It's about two different souls coming with their different karmas. And that's why they have the different experiences. So we also have this case study that is famous Shukla Gupta. You can even read about this and how as a 5-year-old child she was able to, she kept on telling that she belonged to some other a village nearby, and then that village is they all traveled to that, and when they arrived, then the 5-year-old girl who has never gone there took charge and taking them to all the possible wrong turns through the alleys, and finally she took to the house of her father-in-law. There identified everyone, her previous husband and brother-in-laws with their nicknames, and they were I mean there were a battalion of people going with her to see whether it is true or not, and they've remodeled the house. But when she was there, she was trying to enter through one place, but there was a wall there. So then they explained that recently they made a wall and then made a gate somewhere else. So all these little details. And she, uh, was knowing who's her husband. She pointed that out, and then she went into the kitchen and cooked also something that the husband liked, that she used to cook in her. She was only 5 years, but she was able to cook that particular dish. So all these things proves that sometimes people remember, and then there is reincarnation. But we don't need to wait for this. Even famous scientists, we can see that they have believed in that because it's a common sense. Although they are they are very knowledgeable and they are wise, and they have the sense that I will always exist, right? We never feel that we will stop to exist. Even in death, unknowingly we have a feeling that I will continue to exist. So like this, we can see how even the scientists have believed in reincarnation. And if you see, what are the results of this? Why one has to be giving more importance and being soul conscious than body conscious? Because if we are body conscious, then we identify ourselves to belong to a particular religion, particular country, region, and then there is always fight. You see, hardly there are neighboring countries who like each other. Always two neighboring countries, there will be simmering fights. Even in India, if you see, there are many states, and two neighboring states will always have some bickering, some jokes. So in the bodily concept, our religion may be different, and our color of the skin, and our financial situations, and whether we are educated or not, depending on where we are coming from, what our family, there are so many, full of variations, and there is no, it's not uh, easy to find a common chord between them. But this is from bodily consciousness. But what unites is, in spite of this varieties of bodily consciousness, You see, there is the soul, the presence of the soul. And when the soul reaches out to the super soul in devotional way, um, then that's what is uniting. We can see this very popularly in ISKCON. You see it spread all over the world in different countries, different continents. Actually, between Russia and Ukraine, when there was war and it was huge things going on, the devotees who were in Russia and ISKCON devotees who were in Ukraine, they were helping each other. They were taking care of the devotees who have come this side and helping them. How are they able to see beyond their bodily designations? Because they see that we are all Atma, and we are all belonging to one God, Paramatma. So that actually unites. And when we unite, then we come together for a higher cause. Otherwise, our absorption is always in bodily consciousness, and that will keep on. It will continue, like keep on continuing. There's no end to this. There is no end to what we will fight. If two people are perfectly matching each other also, they'll find one thing that they're different and fight over it. That's why Krishna is explaining this, because with this, even our own nature to find differences will vanish over a period of time. And then we can see that we will see beyond the boundaries of the body. And when we have bodily conscious, then we think that how much money we have, we want to spend everything for ourselves. One penny also we can't spend it for others, because that's not me, that's not my enjoyment. So the second thing is, a person who is knowing that every living entity is a soul, then he feels that God has given me wealth only to share, so that I can take care of other fellow beings, whether they are human beings or animals or whatever. So he doesn't claim proprietorship and to use everything for himself. So Krishna is saying, let's see some verses now. In some parts, this is what we read, Dehinosmin yata dehe. So can someone volunteer to read the first two paragraphs? Yeah, Vanaja Mataji.
Hare
I
Krishna.
can do it, Mataji.
If anyone wants to do, they can do, Mataji. It's
Okay, one of you, like, then we'll take turns. Yeah, Vanaja Mataji, and then next maybe Kiran Mataji.
Shall I start with purport only, Mataji?
Yeah, purport only.
Hare Krishna. Since every living entity is an individual soul, each is changing his body every moment, manifesting sometimes as a child, sometimes as a youth, and sometimes as an old man. Yet the same spirit soul is there and does not undergo any change. This individual soul finally changes the body at death and transmigrates to another body. And since it is sure to have another body in the next birth, either material or spiritual, there was no cause for lamentation by Arjuna on account of death, neither for Bhishma nor for Drona, for whom he was so much concerned. Rather, he should rejoice for their changing bodies from old to new ones, thereby rejuvenating their energy. Such changes of body account for varieties of enjoyment or suffering, according to one's work in life. So, Bhishma and Drona, being noble souls, were surely going to have spiritual bodies in the next life, or at least life in heavenly bodies for superior enjoyment of material existence. So, in either case, there was no cause of lamentation.
Yeah,
In
can you read the next? Yeah, these two lines also.
any man who has perfect knowledge of the constitution of the individual soul, the super soul, and nature, both material and spiritual, is called a dhira or a most sober man. Such a man is never deluded by the change of bodies. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. So we see here how from the point of perspective of Arjuna, Krishna is saying that Bhishma and Drona, anyway they have to change. They are already having old bodies and then they will change into new ones, and Arjuna should rejoice. So Arjuna has a question, how he can rejoice? Okay, he knows that they are souls and they are not this body and they're continuing to live. But he will miss them as his own grandfather and teacher, for which Arjuna Krishna is answering the next. But this is what he's saying, the result of knowledge. Perfect knowledge means knowing that the individual soul is there, the super soul, and there is a material and spiritual nature. And such a person is called a dhira or a most sober man. Why? Because he's never deluded by the change of bodies. Okay. What about the dhira when it comes to, like Arjuna is saying, that I'm going to miss their presence? And we will have this moments of happiness and moments of suffering in our life. So Krishna is saying how with this knowledge of the soul, we can handle that. What will we be equipped with to handle situations that seems very extreme? So let's recite the shloka. Matra sparshastu kaunteya.
Matra sparsha tu Kaunteya.
Sitoshna sukha dukkha daha.
Oshna Kaduknaha.
Agama payino nityas.
Ayoni Nityas.
Tam stitikshasva bharata.
Tam Swabhara Bharata.
Okay, please mute yourself now. So matra, we see a on top, hyphen on top. So we have too long. So we don't say matra, we say matra. And yeah, apostrophe on top of yes is third sha. If you see the Sanskrit, if you know it, you can see this sha as in shirt. Matra sparshastu kaunteya. Shitoshna. Shitoshna. So this is one sha. This is the fourth one. So the dot below, yes, is again the last sha. Sha. And the dot below n is na. This na. If you have a little bit idea of Hindi, Devanagari script, na. Not na, na. Little heavy. Sukha, dukkha, daha. H on top, hyphen, a dot below H is ha, ha sound, ha. Same way, agama payino nityas. So the O is little bit elongated here because there is a present, but the A is not written. Whenever A is coming after O, we saw this before. Same way, tam stitik shasva. This is SH as in shirt. This is sa as in S. So it's not titik sasva, it is titik shasva. You have to pronounce. There is a Sanskrit pronunciation guide that is behind all the. You can even find it online and also in the book that you have. The copy Bhagavad Gita as it is mentioned, and all these things how to read is mentioned. Okay, so we'll read the translation. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course, or like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, ocean of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So, by the spiritual knowledge, a person will be equipped to tolerate because he knows why. Because Both happiness and distress is not in our hands. And he expects this cycle, right? Like winter is so cold now. We are waiting when summer will come. And then winter will go and summer will come. And then summer also will go and the next winter will come. Winter will go and again summer will come. So Krishna is giving this example. Their appearance and disappearance both are temporary. So in life, happiness and distress is like this. So you may feel that you're missing them and that cause you distress, but that wouldn't stop their journey. They have to leave when they have to leave. So it causes distress and some causes happiness, but a person learns to tolerate them. One must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Yeah. Now we will not read the shloka, we'll just read the translation. O best among men, the person who's not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is eligible for liberation. So he's saying why we have to strive to be like that. Then that means what it exactly means is not that he's like a piece of rock having no emotions, but he is fixed in his spiritual goal and he would continue to do the spiritual activities undisturbed by happiness and distress because he knows his identification as a soul. And such a person who's fixed in his spiritual activities, he says, is eligible for liberation.
Mataji, sorry for the interruption. Would you mind reading the shloka? We would love to hear your voice while you're reading the shloka. We don't have to repeat after you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking it's
Thank you.
time up. Yeah, but we'll read. Yeah, I can read the shloka. Yam hina vyatayantyete purusham purusharshabha samadhukka sukham dhiram somritattvaya kalpate. So you can also read on mute along with me. I'm reading slowly. So, it's a practice. When we read, then we get better in reading. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha, ubayor api drishtontas dvanayos tattva darshibihi. So those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance. And of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. It's a very beautiful purport, but can someone read who is there next online? First
Yeah,
paragraph.
I can read. This is Raj. There is no endurance of the changing body, that the body is changing every moment by the actions and reactions of the different cells is admitted by modern medical science. And thus, growth and old age are taking place in the body. But the spirit soul exists permanently, remaining the same despite all changes of the body and the mind. That is the difference between between matter and spirit. By nature, the body is ever changing and the soul is eternal. This conclusion is established by all classes of seers of the truth, both impersonalist and personalist. In the Vishnu Purana, it is stated that Vishnu and his abodes are all have self-illuminated spiritual existence. Jyotishmi Vishnur Bhuvanani Vishnuhu. The words existent and non-existent refer only to spirit and matter. That is the version of all seers of truth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we see even modern medical science admits that there is a change going on every single time, every single moment. And that's why he's saying if there is body is ever changing, we cannot stop the body to not change. Same way the soul can never change because it's always eternal. So Krishna is concluding this. And next one. Avinashitu tadvidhi yena sarvam idam tatam vinasham avyayasyasya nakaschit kartum arhati. So here is talking about consciousness. That which pervades the entire body, you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. Um, we don't have time to read, but some parts of it. Kadambini Mataji.
This verse more clearly explains the real nature of the soul, which is spread all over the body. Anyone can understand what is spread all over the body. It is consciousness. Everyone is conscious of the pains and the pleasure of the body in part or as a whole. This spreading of consciousness is limited within one's own body. The pains and the pleasure of one body are unknown to another. Therefore, each and every body is the embodiment of an individual soul, and the symptoms of the soul presence is perceived as individual consciousness. This soul is described as one of 10,000 part of the upper portion of the hair point in size.
Yeah, we'll pause here. Thank you. So yeah, here he says that the what is spread all over the body is consciousness, and that is limited to one's own body. And the size of the hair is 1/10,000th part of the upper portion of the hair point in size. The Svetashvatara Upanishad has a similar verse like Bhagavad Gita. And so two such Vedic verses are stated in the purport so that we understand that what is spoken in the Bhagavad Gita is the same. Here there is a example. Yeah, can the next person wants to read?
I'll read Mataji.
Yeah, Snehal.
Yes. Therefore, the individual particle of spirit soul is a spiritual atom smaller than the material atoms, and such atoms are innumerable. This very small spiritual spark is a basic principle of the material body, and the influence of such a spiritual spark is spread all over the body as the influence of the active principle of some medicine spreads throughout the body. This current of the spirit soul is felt all over the body as consciousness, and that is the proof of the presence of the soul. Any layman can understand that the material body minus consciousness is a dead body, and this consciousness cannot be revived in the body by any means of material administration. Therefore, consciousness is not due to any amount of material combination, but to the spirit soul. In
Thank you.
the
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So yeah, here what is the example is that an influence of the active principle of some medicine spreads throughout the body. Similarly, the influence of spiritual spark is spread all over the body. And when the spiritual spark leaves the body, then that influence is stopped. It's not there anymore. And that is why he says any layman can also understand material body minus consciousness is a dead body. And if we may argue that this consciousness is coming from some part of the body, then he says this consciousness cannot be revived in the body by any means of material administration. Otherwise, we would have gotten all the dead people back alive. They tried that. Who was that? I think Lenin or Stalin. In Russia, they kept for 75 years his body in oil, hoping, he can, that was his instruction, of course. Yeah, but any amount of material administration cannot bring. So here is one more thing.
Mataji, what is Hatha Yoga?
Yeah, we
Can
will.
you explain that?
Hatha yoga is a Ashtanga yoga that we saw in the 6th chapter, the 8 different asanas. What we see as yoga is just bodily exercises now, but that's one part of it. Then that is the uh, uh, controlling of the airs, 5 airs, and rising of the chakras, all those things. Mechanical process of controlling the mind is called Hatha Yoga. Okay, one more thing here is that, see, uh, the individual atomic soul is definitely there in the heart along with the super soul, and thus all the energies of bodily movement are emanating from this part of the body, that is the heart, right? The corpuscles, which carry the oxygen from the lungs, gather energy from the soul. When the soul passes away from this position, the activity of the blood generating fusion ceases. Medical science accepts the importance of the red corpuscles, but it cannot ascertain that the source of the energy is the soul. Medical science, however, does admit that the heart is the seat of all energies of the body. Yeah. So going to text 18. Antavanta ime deha nityasyokta sharirinaha anashino prameyasya tasmad yudhyasva bharata. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal. So these 3 adjectives he's giving. Living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata. Bharata here signifies Arjuna's another name, and that means descendant of Bharata. So, yeah, let me, anybody is that? Yeah, Amit Kumar Prabhuji, would you like to read?
Yes, Mataji, I can read. Hello, Mataji. The material body is perishable by nature. It may perish immediately, or it may do so after 100 years. It is a question of time only. There is no chance of maintaining it indefinitely, but the spirit soul is so minute that it cannot be even seen as an enemy, to say nothing of being killed. As mentioned in the previous verse, it is so small that no one can have any idea how to measure its dimension. So, from both viewpoints, there is no cause of lamentation, because a living entity as he is cannot be killed, or cannot the material body be saved for any length of time or permanently be protected.
Thank you. Yeah. So here, see, the living entity as he is cannot be killed at all, because we cannot even see. So what to speak of being killed? And another truth is the material body cannot be saved for any length of time or permanently protected. It's only a question of time, right? So that's why he's saying, as soon as the spirit soul is out of the body begins to decompose. Therefore, it is the spirit soul which maintains this body. The body itself is unimportant, not really unimportant, but unimportant in comparison to the soul. Therefore, Arjuna was advised to fight and not sacrifice the cause of religion for material bodily considerations. The last but one. Yayenam veti hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam ubau tau na vijanito nayam hanti na hanyate. Neither who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in knowledge. For the self slays not, nor is slain. Gita is a poem, right? It's a poetry. So Krishna is saying that, I cannot induce you to kill, neither you can kill, because living entity is not to be killed, cannot be killed. Na jayate mriyate va kadachinnayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyah ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. For the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. So, if someone asks, when is the soul born? Okay, so he's saying the soul is not born, but because it takes on a material body, the body takes its birth. The soul does not take birth there, and the soul does not die. Anything which has birth also has death. And because the soul has no birth, he therefore has no past, present, and future. He is eternal, ever existing, and primeval. Yeah. So the homework is we are all going to read this purports. Veda vinashinam nityam yayenam ajamavyayam katam sapurusha partha kam gatayati hantikam. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Okay, this you repeat because 13 and 22 are memorization shlokas. So if you all can memorize these two shlokas, I'll send the shlokas in the group and also audio. Vasamsi jitani yata vihaya
Sansi Jinani Yathavyaya
navani grishnati naroparaani.
Navani Krishani
तथा
शरीराणि विहाय
शरीराणि
शरीराणि विहाय
Haya
जीर्णानि
Jirnani
अन्यानि
संयाति
संयान्यवानि देहि
अन्यानि
Navani
संयानवानि
Dehi
As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul
Very good.
similarly
Oh,
accepts
sorry.
new material bodies, giving up old and useless ones. Kiran Mataji, I
Yes,
know you wanted to read. If you
Anand.
can read this
From transference.
transference. Yeah.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji. Transference of the atomic individual soul to another body is made possible by the grace of the supersoul. The supersoul fulfills the desire of the atomic soul as one friend fulfills the desire of another. The Vedas, like the Munudaka Upanishad, so well as Swatarana Upanishad, compare the soul and the supersoul to two friendly birds sitting on the same tree. One of the birds, the individual atomic soul, is eating the fruit of the tree, and the other bird, Krishna, is simply watching his friends. Of these two birds, although they are the same in quality, one is captivated by the fruits of the material tree, while the other is simply witnessing the activities of his friends. Krishna is witnessing bird and Arjuna is the eating bird. Although they are friends, one is still the master and the other is the servant. Forgetfulness of the relationship by the atomic soul is the cause of one's changing his position from one tree to another or from one body to another. The Jiva soul is struggling very hard on the tree of the material body, but as soon as he agrees to accept the other bird as the supreme spiritual master, as Arjuna agreed to do by voluntary surrender into Krishna for instruction, the subordinate bird immediately becomes free from all lamentations. Both the Mundaka Upanishad and Svetasvatana Upanishad confirms this.
Thank you,
All
Mataji.
yes, Mataji.
So we see here there are two birds that's mentioned. One is the individual atomic soul eating the fruit of the tree, and the other is simply watching his friend. Because who makes this transferring? Why? Who is the person who's made this arrangement it doesn't happen automatically, right? From one body we go to another body. That's why transference of the atomic individual soul is to another body is made possible by the grace of the super soul. And the difference between the soul and the super soul is mentioned. They are friends, but one bird is completely free. He's a master. The other Jivatma bird is a servant. But if the Jivatma bird forgets to turn his face to the Paramatma bird and take some instructions, then the Jivatma bird struggles very hard from one body to another body, from one planet to another planet, like that. Yeah, so Krishna is also giving a graphical example here. Continues this. Let me see. 20. Okay, so we'll pause here. And so the homework would be to go through the purports of these slokas that we discussed. And some purports are discussing about to mention how the soul and super soul are not the one and the same. So if it is about the concept of two Achintya Beda Beda Tattva. It may be a little overwhelming now, but that's okay. If we will eventually learn about that, but mainly we will read the purports from 13 to 22, and and also we'll try to memorize text 13 and text 22. Let's go back if we have left anything. Yeah, we saw this shloka. So we know this, the soul leaves the gross body behind and is taken to another womb based on the qualities of desire stored in the subtle body at the time of death. Probably we will talk about it in the next class. As we know that the bodies are like vehicles, but it's the same person who moves from one to another. And again from flight, he'll go back to cycle. It's always not like this. Faster, like that, right? Depending on the desires that is stored and the karma. What we have done, as we have sown, we have to reap. What we have sown, what all we have to reap, and what desires we have, mix and matched like a puzzle, and then we are getting a body. So if we obey the Lord's thing by austerity, chanting is it's to sit in a place and to think about the Lord, to not think about anything else is a big austerity for the mind. But when we do this, things will become clear. What it is, how do I understand? And coming together to chant the holy names of the Lord is sacrifice, and through knowledge of the Vedas, we can enhance our thirst to attain this knowledge, and we'll find it easy to practice in the association with devotees, right? So yeah, then we can attain the supreme destination where we don't need all this at all. Not that we are going to merge in the light, we will have life there, very much alive and kicking. We'll have so many other families and friends, and all this goes on. This world is only a reflection, right? So what do we do? First is association, means coming together in a sangha where we can learn this at least once a week. And then just learning is not enough from these classes. We need to do our homeworks of going through the books and understanding. But just by reading the books we can't understand, because we have to do some service. And if we don't do service, why will Krishna let this knowledge be tangible and perceivable for us? So we are chanting and praying to the Lord that let me understand what you have for me. And another thing of offering food to the Lord, that is also an act of gratitude, and that purifies us. So apart from this, we can engage in some service to the Lord, practical service, whatever we are capable of, and that will bring us together and keep us grounded in this learning path. So weekdays and weekends we are mourning, and many people say weekend is the only time we sleep, and we have never seen 6 a.m. EST. Try, to see the benefits that you get from this. When we start coming and we reap the benefits, then it's more in the mode of goodness and more relishable than the early morning sleep. So once we have this taste, then it's easy to break the cycle. For that, our main thing is get to bed early. So slowly we cultivate these qualities. So we'll pause here, thanking the Lord. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So thank you, devotees. If you have any questions, you can take now. Uh, yeah, today is Ekadashi, and I'm so happy that we are starting this course on the Ekadashi day, and discussing Bhagavad Gita on Ekadashi is 1,000 times the benefit. Thank you, Sekal Mataji, for the comment. At the time of distressful events, right? Thank you. Okay. We have some raised hands. Kiran Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mataji, as you mentioned about how one feels when the soul is coming out of the body, and there are medical evidences. So, this is a very real experience of my roommate during the medical college. She was my roommate, and she's now a forensic expert. So her mother was admitted at Ruby Hall, and for particular few minutes, she was said that she went into an cardiac arrest, and she has like she was declared dead. But they again started, try to revive her, and fortunately, she got revived. So she had a this is a very true story because she's my roommate. So she said that her mother had an experience where she could see the tunnel and the light, where many people have said the same thing. Like she saw the tunnel, she saw the light, and the entire life sequences came flashes in front of her, and then suddenly she felt that she's come back to life. So we all as friends and medical experts there, we were like all discussing that, is it. So we had many senior doctors also. So so in our group discussion they just said that, when you're on the ventilator, so when they pull off the ventilator, once when the brain's electrical activity still goes on, that's the last thing which still goes on. That is why sometimes they are not taking off the patient off the ventilator. So they were saying these are just some electrical activities of the brain, and that's why this is happening. So the discussion ended on the topic that this is the few electrical activity that happens at the end stage of the brain, and then once the cremation is done, there's nothing after that. Like scientifically they were like that. So my question to you is actually that when we keep reading a lot of things scientifically, where they say once the body is being cremated, after there's this nothing, like no concept of soul or anything, it's done, it's over. Because they say that when you don't remember anything with what you were at the age of 5, you won't there's nothing after that also. So I just feel if one person has just a basic way of living of life, like in good way only, and is not doing a lot of spiritual things, then is that person wrong?
Okay. Nice question.
Thank you, Mataji.
He's not wrong, but um, it's like he's taking care of the cage nicely, but he's forgetting to feed the parrot. So we are all going to face this. We have seen our near and dear ones are going to face this. So it becomes our responsibility to get prepared for this. That's the only thing. If not, if he's not having a spiritual, inclination, but he's continuing because that's what he chooses him to, then he will continue. In the next body, he will go again and he will live a life like that. Maybe pious, maybe impious, we don't know, depending on the surroundings. And then again, it will go on and on and on until he comes to a point to to understand that why I should be doing this again and again and again. If I cultivate a little spiritual knowledge and wisdom of myself, along with doing the material activities, then I am safe because I am equipping myself with the enough, KT, to uh, to help myself when the moment comes, and also to help others whose moments of final moments come before us. So it's good that a person is good, but it's one level above, and because as human beings we can do that. So it becomes, what to say, he becomes more fulfilled person even in his material activities if he takes some spiritual knowledge.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Amit Prabhu.
Hello, Pranam Mataji. I'm Ambi. I'm in 7th grade. And I have a question. So when you were talking about phobias, how you were saying in past lives, it's how we get our phobias in real life. What if somebody has a phobia of death? How would that be affected, honestly?
7th grade, that's very nice question. Yeah, everybody has a phobia of death. You see, because we have died so many times. That's why we don't want to discuss that. We want to, forget that. And even if a near and dear one are passing away, also, we don't want to watch that, see that because of the phobia. But a spiritually realized person, for example, if you are in 7th grade, you're very fortunate to be even, coming to listen to these classes, understand and ask questions. You're a very blessed soul. So when you cultivate the spiritual knowledge as you go by, you'll see that you can help so many people. Uh, And then that person who's a Dhira, he'll not have a phobia of death. So that's what we are all. Krishna is wanting Arjuna, and through Arjuna, all of us. Is that okay? And sometimes phobias can be from this life also, in childhood. Something happens and then the impression is there, like that.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Have a good day.
Where are you located?
Charlotte,
Charlotte, okay. Nice to have your question. Thank you.
you have a good day.
You too. Have a good day. Kadambini Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, I understood the concept of the body is not doing, like body has no emotions and all. But my question is that if body is not doing body is doing everything, soul is not doing anything wrong, then and body is just a vehicle, why soul gets corrupted, why we carry karmas, then it's a body should carry karmas, right? But it's the soul who's getting transferred, so why soul is to bear that? And my second question is, we say na ye rakshas pravritti ka tha, ya this one was deva, so does soul have a personality? It's
Okay.
only body has a
Yeah,
personality,
we
right?
will talk about the subtle body. So your question comes there. So subtle body, we know it is mind, intelligence, and false ego, because these three also is a body, but not so physical, like how we can have hands and legs, we cannot feel the mind. We cannot, measure the intelligence. And the ego, like identity, what a person thinks about himself is very subtle. But these three things uh, are called chitta and are the connection of the soul to the body. So this chitta only has to be purified. The soul gives the power of attorney to the mind, and the mind has desires, and based on the desires, the physical body acts. And when the physical body acts, for example, I have a bad desire, and then I do a bad activity of giving harm to someone, hurt to someone, then I have the reaction. Okay, someone will hurt me, my body, but then me as a soul surrounded by the subtle body, in my mind I feel that pain and pleasure. Even in the body, if there is an accident, something happens, then I feel that pain, the hurt. So the subtle body is what the connection is. That's the answer to your first question.
Thank you,
And
Mataji.
what was your second one?
This like we say na, this body, this soul is like
Rakshasa. Right.
Rakshas and Deva.
That's because of the mind. The mind, the soul and the mind travel together always from one
Okay,
body to
got
another.
it.
So based on the impressions of the mind and at the time of death, depending on the position of the planets, we can say whether, this person is born with this mindset, like that.
Got it. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mataji.
Thank you. Prasad Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Feeling good to start the sessions back again. Yeah, I have two questions. One is about phobia. So, like, sometimes, I mean, my wife is scared about heights. So, when we go on some rides, I make her to do the rides, right? So, she has a phobia of heights, and I am asking or like driving towards to get the rides done. So is it like we should restrain from forcing someone to try, or is it okay?
Yeah, depending on their comfortability, because the
Mhm.
phobias are also not eternal. This life you have a phobia and then you get over it. Next life there is some other phobia, because mind keeps so many impressions keep varying. So if she's not so comfortable, then it's going to get her, instead of releasing her from phobia, you will add to it more. But
Mhm.
if she's okay to try and she feels that, I am okay, I can, my fear is going, then it's okay to continue to try that. It can go in both ways. So we have to
Okay.
like exercise little caution there.
Yeah. And
Depending
second
on,
one, sorry. Second one is about soul. So does soul help child to think differently when they are like very young, like months, years, I mean, like they grow like year by year, right? So does soul help a kid to think anything differently? Like if they are doing something bad, or if they are to make sure like they are not doing anything bad to themselves.
That's why the children don't have that. Like, it's not the soul, their body and the mind are not developed enough to discern whether this is good for me or not good for me. That's why they say in the medicines, keep away from children.
Mm-hmm.
Why they are putting that? Because even if you tell the child this is not good for you, then he will think, oh, it's good for me and it's not good for me. It's good for you, it's not good for me. Let me take it. Same way, the we have all the household cleaners with so many chemicals, and they say because the color is sometimes yellowish, pink, and they get attracted by that because their mind is not yet developed to discern. Intelligence is not developed to that you can explain to them. So that's why they could do something very detrimental to themselves also.
So few kids are like born with that intelligence, right? So like why are they different compared to others?
Why should they be different? Because they have different, like we saw the different vehicles.
Uh-huh.
The very fact that everyone has a different IQ and different mindset, some child will be very curious, and some, they will listen, and they know their sense of, when you take them outside in a social place, they know how to behave, how not to behave at a say 5 years of age. But some children will not get it even when they are 8 years, right? Their IQ and their mind and what they're absorbing is different. It's different because the subtle body is different, each one. And why it is different? Because that's what they're carrying from the previous life and the impressions.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. We'll learn more about this when we go. Thank you. iPhone.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Nisha here.
Hare Krishna, Nisha.
So, Mataji, nice session, thank you. I had a question regarding the person who are medically unconscious. So we know the souls are not really gone. So what is the situation, or the how is the soul and the body explained spiritually?
Sorry, the first line of the question, can you repeat?
Sorry, yeah. So we understand that if some person is unconscious or in coma,
Coma, yeah.
so in that case,
Uh, there
we
is
know. Uh,
there is breathing, there is some life activity, the heartbeat,
yeah.
but he's not. So coma is said to be actually a transition period.
Mm,
Sometimes the soul's next destination is not
mm,
immediately decided due
mm,
to
mm, mm,
various things.
mm,
Maybe uh, maybe their activities. I mean, they are still figuring out. Normally, not
mm,
everybody goes through this, but few
mm,
people go through this for some time and for long. So basically, the soul is kept in the body like a standby. Time of
okay.
leaving has come,
Mm,
and depending on the decision, because there are some cases where after coma they've regained the consciousness and they've
mm,
come back,
yeah.
and some cases after coma they never regain, but the vital activities are stopping after that.
Mm,
So what I've heard is it is like for some souls, the next body and the next destination is
mm,
not yet immediately decided.
okay.
So they are in the standby. And
Mm,
sometimes, they're sent back to continue here. Or sometimes then they when their destination is fixed, then they pass on.
okay. And this is similar if some person is like unconscious for a few minutes, and then like similar case would be when the person is unconscious, right?
Not always.
Not all.
Unconscious
Okay.
unconscious and coma are different, na? Coma is very
Mm-hmm.
deep state of unconsciousness.
Yeah.
That,
Okay.
but unconscious sometimes by fainting,
Mm-hmm.
but due to some medical condition or
Mm-hmm.
so for moments they can black out, and
Mm-hmm.
the connection between the subtle body and the gross body is
Mm-hmm.
stopped. So that case is not that they are in the standby, but that has been caused by some, physical
Mm-hmm.
or mental states. Like somebody is in so much shock,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
then they can't take it anymore. The
Mm.
consciousness, whether there is extreme pain or extreme pleasure that the consciousness cannot handle,
Mm.
being aware, then the
Mm.
awareness is withdrawn for a few minutes or for some
Mm.
time.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Understood. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Bhakti. Hare Krishna. Tati, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for this class. I would like to know. So I work with hypnosis to solve some issues related to past lives. But I'd like to know the view of the Bhagavad Gita. If the soul has no past nor future, how is the correlated that we have? Um, like we experience time here, we understand the time is as linear, right? But how this is correlated to the known past or future of the soul?
Okay, the hypnosis, you're asking about the hypnosis, right?
Yes, because sometimes like people has problems and like we can fix that going back, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes we go to the future,
Mm.
but in the soul, how this works? Like if there's no future and no past.
Okay, very nice question, Tati. So, soul is not touched. What we are touching through hypnosis is the impressions in the mind.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so to some extent, our future, what's going to happen in a broad way, is also, even in astrology, it's predicted to some extent. Okay, it's a
Mhm.
science. Same way, the impressions are also there, and the future can be accessed. But past is what is more often accessed, and that would help fix some problems. But there is also a danger in that. I heard this from a spiritual master in ISKCON, Hanumat Preshak Swami. He had come to Atlanta for the Rath Yatra festival, and um, he's a double PhD. He's from a scientific background, and so he was telling that he's telling the story, which was very powerful. That I felt that it is it it's something about hypnosis. So he was saying that a family had this daughter, and they all would go out for a restaurant to eat. And when the waiter comes, and if she sees someone pouring water into a glass or something, then she gets lost. She's not present that anymore, and then she will start taking the water and pouring on the table, and she behaves weird after that. So they took her to a hypnotic doctor, and then uh, he went into regression, past lives. And then I think one or two lives before, when she was very young, she was with her stepmother, and she explained that she had passed away by uh, her stepmother throwing hot boiling water on her. And this was such an impression. So that's why, whenever there is some flow of water, something, she behaves in a very inexplicable way. After some time, she comes back to the senses, but this they wanted to fix it. So this person, when he was getting to the past life like this, and actually she travels back in the memories and identifies herself, and tries to be there at that position. So when she's able to come back, if she's able to come back, then it is said that that trauma is released. But unfortunately, in this case, the doctor had a phone call or something, and then he was never able to bring her back to the current stage. So
Oh, wow.
previously she at least had these episodes come and go, but after this what happened was he was not able to bring her back. So she had to live a life of, like, she had no connection with the external world, like that. So what Maharaj was saying in that thing was, some impressions are so strong, it we can carry on for lives, and we don't know that impressions are there. There is a reason why they have kept inaccessible, because we should be very careful if we access them, to access them and come out of them, to not like open the Pandora box again, there's
Mm-hmm.
like curiosity kills the cat, opening the box and genie comes out. So that's the reason it's kept very, the impressions are not easily accessible. But what he said was, this chanting of Mahamantra, when we chant, we may, this goes in depth of the heart, and whatever negative impressions we have, even in this life, from a trauma in the childhood or in the previous lives, all those things from the deep of the heart, the chanting is like, dusting off. The dust comes away, and that's why we feel a sense of calmness and peace when we are able to withdraw our thoughts from other things and put it in the vibration of the holy name. So he had concluded the session saying that the chanting has a power to release such, traumatic impressions that are stored in the mind for many lifetimes, even without us knowing what it is.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mataji. And then the impression you say it's the sanskaras?
Yeah,
Oh,
impressions are sanskaras, yeah, more or less like that. But this is like some heavy happiness or distress, the emotions that we have felt, that the mind is, it's like, is there in the mind. We can't access it. We don't know what it is, but it's like giving out the flames of, um what to say, some phobias or some, kind of nature, like this, inexplicable nature and things like that. Basically, it causes some stress without knowing. That's the not Samskaras are good impressions, which will cause good, but these could be good and bad.
okay. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you for the question. And thank you for attending the class. Sandhya.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So how was Krishna even made? Because everyone is a person, but how did Krishna get the power of like all of this stuff?
Okay. How old are you?
7.
You're 7?
Yes.
Wow. What's your name?
Suchit.
Suchit. Nice question. Okay.
Just keeps on asking this question, Mataji. I even we are in association with like we are going to Bhakti Vriksha also.
Where?
We are in Frisco, Mataji, to Srimati Mataji and Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu.
Okay. Good. Good. Okay.
Yeah, he keeps on asking the question to Prabhuji also, but he is not getting convinced with any answers.
Okay. That's nice. Good question, Suchit. It is like asking, can you tell me why sugar is sweet? Why chili is spicy? Right? It is a characteristic of sugar to be sweet. There is no sugar. You cannot remove the sweetness from sugar. Right? So
Yeah.
similarly, God means, the dictionary itself is explaining, supreme person. The characteristic of God is that one who is the origin of everything and who doesn't have an origin himself. Like you have your father and your grandfather and your great grandfather and your great great grandfather, your great 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 grandfather, and 100 times great 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 grandfather, right? It's
Yeah.
that's why you are here, because you have a grandfather, grandfather as a grandfather, grandfather as a grandfather, and see if you can trace out. You know where you will end? Brahma's uh, Brahmaputras or Brahma's sons, the rishis. That's where the Gotra comes from. One of the rishis, one of the sages, and from him from. So then the sage has come from Brahma. And where does Brahma come from? If you know, if you see, Brahma is, in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained that how when Brahma was created, Brahma is a creator, but Brahma was also created. And he didn't know why he was created, what is this world, what am I supposed to do. Then he did meditation in the holy names of the Lord. And then when he looked down, he found himself on top of the lotus, and the stem of the lotus connected to the navel of a person, and a gigantic Vishnu is lying down, covering the whole universe. And Brahma is seeing that. And then he's describing how his hair is, how his eyes are, how his legs are, and like, I mean, then from him he gets a knowledge to create. So, like this, God is a person who doesn't have a beginning. Then that person is called God. If somebody has a beginning, then he is not God. Just like sugar, there's no question of sugar without sweetness. So, similarly, a person, if someone asks that why sugar is sweet, that means he doesn't know the science of sugar. So, the science of God means the supreme person who's the origin of everything, who doesn't have the origin of anything, and who's the cause of all causes. If you find out the cause, it stops in him. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Mataji, for his level of explanation.
Thank you, Sichit, for adult level of question. It's a nice question. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, we have some questions in the chat. Oh yeah, Asha Mataji, regarding, I think it is did you wanted the recordings, right? Yeah, we have been lagging behind. Like there was some visits of devotees, I couldn't sit, but very soon we will.
Yeah, sorry, no, Mataji, not the recordings. I just had some personal questions that I texted. I know you get a lot of messages. It's okay. I just wanted just to let you know that.
Yes, yes. I'm
Yeah.
sorry if I had missed. I
No,
will.
no, no worries at all. Thank you, Mataji.
I had missed. I will reply.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay. So, Ekta Mataji's question, when we learn so much about soul and we are the soul, not the body, then how do we also focus on healing the body if something goes wrong, like any deformation or critical paralyzing illness, where we are still alive? So, soul is there, but body is distress state, causing lifelong pain. Yeah, I mean, we are in the body, we are not the body. The more the realization we have, the more we will see ourselves separate from the body, and we will see that the pain also is tolerable and handleable, first of all. And the second thing, when we know we are not this body, we are soul, we will not be put into the stage of depression, that why like this for me alone, and I have this condition and I can never get out of it. That mindset will not be there, because eventually the soul is the driver, not the body. So how to take care of the healing of the body requires the healing. If it requires, you have to go to a doctor, take medicines, do whatever is required within our thing, to that methods of remedy we have to take, going to the doctor and medicine and whatever. And also along with that, prayer, that so that I can be able to tolerate this distress doesn't affect me that much, and if you desire, let me be free out of it. So prayer and healing through any process, both we have to do. Does learning about Bhagavad Gita, which doesn't talk about the healing the body, like Ayurvedic scripture, does learning about Bhagavad Gita lead to body healing? Yeah, he says now happiness and he talks about body healing also. He says that what about the food that we eat, and if we are regulated in our practice, okay, Yuktahara Viharasya, it's in 6th chapter, that if we are regulated in the practice of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work, let me show you that we can mitigate the bodily pains. So it does talk about the body, and that is a side effect of the spiritual knowledge. See, he who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains, which includes bodily and mental pains, by practicing the yoga system. So it does talk about that. What is to be done to seek body healing on Bhagavad Gita spiritual path? When doctors don't know this, can you text me in private, Ekta Mataji? I would like to talk to you on this. But generally, yeah, there are some cures that the doctors don't know. Then, we can try alternate medicines. But I would say, along with that, prayer. Then we can, the soul, by Krishna's mercy, some process of cure will come on our way. There's also the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra that we can chant. Is not an ordinary mantra. It acts in all levels, physical, mental, and intellectual also, physical also. And also there is a mantra of Dhanvantri, who is a specific god of healing in Ayurveda. So we can also chant that, so that some form of cure, can come to us. It's okay. If a person is on their deathbed and family members are sure that person will die due to health condition, and they gather to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for that particular soul, does that help the soul attain a higher destination or a better next life? 100%. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is like a medicine for the dying soul. And if they just hear that Maha Mantra, because at that time we are not even able to chant, but the last sense to go is hearing. If we just hear that mantra, it is said that it can change the destination. It doesn't matter what they have lived throughout their life. By just what happened to Ajamila, just by chanting Narayana, unknowingly all the sins are wiped off. So if the person is not even able to chant, but about here also, it is also a process of devotional service, Shravanam. So that will also help, wipe off all the sinful reactions, reactions that he is expecting he has done in the life. It will, promote the consciousness so much. So it's the best thing to do to someone in that condition. If someone is going through, okay, if someone is going through invasive medical treatment that has significant side effects, how do you know that this is causing harm to their soul? How do you know if, when it is time to stop the treatment and stop forcing the physical body to stay in this world and let the soul go? It's very hard to take the decision on our own, because sometimes, the side effects are there. But the main side of the very fact that the treatment is prescribed, because the main disease needs to have a solution, and it's worth that taking the side effects for that. So I know it may be painful, but it doesn't cause harm to the soul. So we never know at what point of time the treatment would give fruits, or will the result will start to come. So it's a very I mean, we are not the deciders to know that. So that time of decision to let the soul go should be taken only when there is 100% no other ways open. Until then, we never know. Anybody can bounce back from any condition. That's the thing. If the abortion is done at the very first month of the pregnancy, will the soul of that baby stay? No, it's killed. So abortion is done means it's basically murdering the unborn baby, which has more sinful reaction than even killing, according to the Shastra, than killing a person who's born and alive and adult. It is mentioned like that. So the soul cannot stay anymore there, because the soul's the developing body of the baby is killed. So the soul exits, and it's not a good thing to do. It causes so much sinful reaction. The reaction is when in some life they want the baby, they wouldn't be able to get it, because when they got it, they choose to do this. So it's a very tricky thing. Even now you see so much, in US, even medically, in lawfully, they've proved that that is killing an embryo is harming someone. So that's why abortion is, it's a big thing. But Shastric viewpoint is there is life there. Even from day one, there is life there. No, the soul enters during conception. When there is union, that's when the soul, only when the soul enters there is pregnancy. Otherwise, there is no pregnancy. It's explained in the third canto in Kapila Dev's thing in the. When I have time, I will show it maybe tomorrow. I mean, the next session. Yeah, at the time of conception, the soul enters. Okay, I think we are done with questions. Thank you all very much. So the homework is to read the purports of this and also memorize the 2 verses, word by word meaning. And the way how to memorize is go word by word. What each word means. Dehino, dehinaha, asmin, yata, dehe. One line, 4 words, what each meaning is. So we make that mental map and say that first line multiple times, say 11 times. Then you go to the second line and same way word by word. We know the meaning, then we know the meaning of that line, then say it 11 times. Then say the first and the second line together 11 times. Then go to third and the fourth and say it together 11 times and the whole shloka. By this, the shloka is there in the head and it wouldn't go. So we'll follow this and try to do this homework, and you can also send the audio if you have memorized. I will also send an audio, or have Yashita send an audio. She must be having this audio already. So we can hear that and practice. the shloka and the translation. So thank you all very much. See you again next week, Krishna willing. And if you have any questions, you can text me. I'm so sorry for not responding. Please forgive me. But you can call and text and then call, and we can discuss if you have any questions. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.